Lisa woke up in shock and realized her husband, who had just been applying sunscreen on her, had disappeared without a trace. She quickly asked a nearby couple if they had seen him, but they said they had been there for a long time and hadn't seen anyone else. Earlier, her husband had finished applying sunscreen and gone for a swim alone, but now he hadn't returned, filling Lisa with fear. She hurriedly took out her phone and called his number, but his phone was turned off. Growing increasingly anxious, Lisa put on her clothes and rushed to the shore. Her graceful figure caught the attention of Matt, a lifeguard involved in search and rescue operations. While Lisa was explaining the situation to the police, Matt volunteered to help her. A rescue team soon took a speedboat out to search the surrounding waters, but despite hours of effort, they found no sign of Lisa's husband. Feeling hopeless, Lisa went to the police station to file a report. To her surprise, the officers told her that this beach was known for its calm waters and had never had a drowning incident. They also noted her husband was an excellent swimmer. After taking her statement, the police advised her to rest at her hotel and promised to inform her of any updates. This trip, originally meant to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary, now left Lisa alone and worried. She looked at her husband's scattered clothes and felt even more uneasy. That evening, the police called her, but their search hadn't uncovered any clues. Lisa couldn't sleep all night due to her growing anxiety. The next morning, she returned to the beach where her husband had disappeared. For the rest of her vacation, Lisa visited the beach every day, waiting in vain for his return. When the holiday ended, she had no choice but to resume her job as an art professor at a university. One day during class, Lisa noticed a male student smirking at her in a way that unsettled her. Upon closer inspection, she was shocked to realize it was Matt, the lifeguard from the beach. After class, Matt approached her and explained that he had worked at the island during his summer break and coincidentally signed up for her art class this semester. He expressed his sympathy for her missing husband and admitted that he had been captivated by her elegance since the moment he first saw her. In the days that followed, Matt found excuses to spend time with Lisa and even invited her to a concert. Although Lisa understood his intentions, she firmly believed her husband was still alive and wasn't ready to start another relationship. One evening, while going through her husband's computer, Lisa stumbled upon a video from his company's annual party. In the video, a woman in a red dress appeared, acting very close to her husband. Lisa didn't recognize this woman, and the two seemed to be having a private conversation in the corner. The next day, Lisa showed the video to her best friend, who had also attended the party. However, her friend didn't remember much about the woman, only recalling that she had driven Lisa's husband to the event. She hadn't noticed any unusual behavior between them, so she hadn't thought to mention it to Lisa before. What truly puzzled Lisa was discovering that her husband had transferred all their money, including their shared assets, just days before he disappeared. This sudden financial change threw Lisa's life into turmoil. While she was still grappling with the situation, the police called again, informing her that they had recovered a body from the waters near where her husband vanished. They needed Lisa to identify it. The following morning, Lisa rushed to the police station. At first glance, she immediately knew the body wasn't her husband. At that moment, the detective proposed a bold theory. The detective suspected that Lisa's husband might not have had an accident, but could have faked his disappearance to run off with another woman. There was some evidence to support this theory. All his personal belongings were found at the scene, except for his phone, which had mysteriously vanished. These thoughts planted a seed of doubt in Lisa's mind, which began to grow. When she returned home that evening, she couldn't hold back her grief and burst into tears. The overwhelming emotions strengthened her resolve to uncover the truth. She sought out her husband's colleagues to learn more about the woman from the video. They told her the woman had resigned shortly after Lisa's husband disappeared and taken a job at another company. They also revealed that their company was under investigation for financial irregularities, and her husband was suspected of involvement in a major fraud case. That night, using the information from her husband's colleagues, Lisa searched online and found the woman's new workplace. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. A courier delivered a package, claiming it was a gift from Matt. Lisa didn't open it and returned it to Matt the next day. During their conversation, Lisa learned that Matt came from a wealthy family but had achieved success on his own. He owned a private art museum filled with rare pieces he had acquired through his talent and efforts, not his family's wealth. Lisa also found out Matt's parents were divorced and he lived alone. Feeling sympathetic, she invited him over and cooked a meal for him. As Matt left, he confessed his feelings for Lisa. While Lisa didn't give him a clear response, her gaze revealed she was touched by his sincerity. That night, Lisa couldn't sleep, her mind filled with the day's revelations. She looked through her husband's photo albums and zoomed in on certain pictures. She noticed that in every photo, the woman in red seemed to glare at her husband with a strange hostility, as if she harbored a deep grudge against him. Determined to find answers, Lisa searched through her husband's belongings. In the pocket of one jacket, she found a receipt for an expensive necklace, though her husband had never bought her such jewelry. The discovery added to her suspicions, making her thoughts more turbulent. The next day, Lisa stumbled upon a mysterious box in the storage room. Inside, she found a photo album she had never seen before, along with an old newspaper. The newspaper reported a tragic car accident years ago involving an athlete named Sergey. Sergey and his wife had died instantly in a collision with a truck while traveling with their family. The accident left behind twin daughters. Strangely, the back of the newspaper was pasted with several childhood photos of Lisa's husband, and one showed him at the accident scene. While Lisa was trying to make sense of these clues, the doorbell rang, breaking the silence. A tall federal agent appeared, his expression stern. He revealed shocking news. They were investigating a major financial fraud case, and Lisa's husband was the prime suspect. The agent suggested that Lisa's husband had not drowned, but had fled the country with a significant sum of money. The authorities needed Lisa's help to gather critical information to bring him to justice. After delivering the news, the agent left, leaving Lisa alone in her empty house, overwhelmed by despair. The strange disappearance of her husband and the investigators' words weighed heavily on Lisa. Her emotions felt like a ship tossed in a storm, pushing her to the brink of collapse. In her loneliness, Lisa invited Matt over to confide in him. She shared her doubts and suspicions, laying everything out for him. Matt was confused and asked why she still wanted to investigate if she already believed her husband had betrayed her. Still, he offered to help. Together, they drove to the woman's new workplace and followed her discreetly. They saw her enter a pharmacy and buy medication and syringes. She then went to a men's clothing store and purchased a sweater. Lisa remarked that her husband never wore sweaters because she disliked having wool in the house. They continued to follow the woman, who eventually arrived at a secluded villa in the suburbs. Matt suggested they head back and come up with a thorough plan to avoid alerting her unnecessarily. The next morning, Matt arrived outside the villa on his own. Using a piece of wire, he cleverly punctured the tire of his car. Then, without hesitation, he rang the doorbell. Shortly after, the woman appeared. Matt politely explained that his tire was damaged and asked to borrow a car jack. Although the woman seemed doubtful, she eventually brought him the tool. As Matt replaced the tire, he noticed the mud on her shoes. Staying calm, he observed her through the car window while he worked. Within minutes, he had skillfully fixed the tire. Surprisingly, the woman invited him inside to wash his hands. Matt, not wanting to miss this opportunity, accepted the invitation. Inside the house, Matt scanned the surroundings. There were no signs indicating that a man lived there. Just as he was about to leave, the woman offered him tea, which he agreed to. Their conversation flowed naturally, and the woman seemed charmed by Matt's personality. She even invited him to visit her again in the future. When Matt returned, he told Lisa everything he had observed. He didn't think the woman was dangerous. He pointed out that she was wearing the men's sweater she had purchased earlier, but there were no signs of a man living in her house. Despite this, Lisa remained convinced that her husband was somehow connected to the woman. To ease Lisa's concerns, Matt decided to visit the woman again. This time, he offered to cook for her. While grilling meat, he excused himself to use the bathroom and took the chance to look around the house. He heard faint noises coming from a locked room. As he tried to talk to whoever was inside, the woman appeared unexpectedly. After dinner, Matt picked up a trophy on the table, but the woman reacted strongly, insisting he shouldn't touch it. Realizing she had startled Matt, the woman quickly explained the trophy's sentimental value. To lighten the mood, she suggested they play a shooting game. While they were focused on the game, a person in a wheelchair silently entered the storage room. By the time night fell, Matt said his goodbyes and left. After he was gone, the woman discovered that someone had opened her secret storage area. She rushed over and angrily confronted her sister, who was in the wheelchair. It turned out that the wheelchair-bound woman was her twin sister. To prevent her sister from interfering with her plans, the woman blocked the back door with a shoe rack. Meanwhile, Matt returned to Lisa's house and shared everything he had learned. He suspected Lisa's husband might be hidden in the locked room, but couldn't be certain. When Matt mentioned the name engraved on the trophy, Sergey, Lisa's expression changed. She searched through an old box of her husband's belongings and found a faded newspaper. The article described a car accident from years ago in which a pair of twin sisters had survived while their parents died. Lisa's husband had been at the scene of the accident. Based on the clues, they concluded that the woman was one of the surviving twins. But they still didn't know how she was connected to Lisa's husband's disappearance. Determined to uncover the truth, Matt and Lisa decided to visit the woman's house. They waited until she left for work and then carefully climbed over the fence to enter the property. Just as Matt was about to pry open a window, the woman unexpectedly returned home. Matt and Lisa had no choice but to retreat quickly. Now their only option was for Matt to use his charm to invite the woman out for drinks, giving Lisa the chance to search the house alone. The plan worked. That evening, the woman met Matt in the city. He had a few drinks with her and then invited her to dance. Meanwhile, Lisa snuck into the house by breaking a window. She moved quietly and used a flashlight to inspect her surroundings. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the corner. Lisa wasn't startled. She saw a woman in a wheelchair, who turned out to be the injured twin sister from the accident years ago. The sister seemed to have been expecting Lisa's arrival. Instead of trying to stop her, she offered to take Lisa to her husband. Along the way, the sister revealed the truth. Years ago, their parents had been driving when a kite obstructed their view. A farm truck then crashed into their car, sending it off a cliff. The parents died instantly, and the sisters were left alone. The sister in the wheelchair suffered severe injuries, leaving her disabled. The accident had been caused by Lisa's husband, who was a child at the time. He had never taken responsibility for the incident. The able-bodied twin had spent years planning revenge. Recently, she found a way to get close to Lisa's husband and trapped him. He was now being held in the basement. Hearing this, Lisa was desperate to rescue him, but she was unaware that the house was equipped with a security system. After the dance ended, Matt went to the restroom. While he was away, the woman noticed multiple alert messages popping up on her phone. Realizing she had been tricked into leaving her house, she immediately drove home at full speed. At the same time, Lisa discovered the entrance to the secret room. However, the door was tightly secured with a strong lock. As she tried to crack the password, the woman arrived home. When Lisa opened her eyes again, she found herself in a dimly lit, sealed room. The oppressive atmosphere made it hard to breathe. Next to her, a scruffy, emaciated man crouched on the floor. Lisa looked closely and was shocked to recognize him. It was her husband, who had been missing for 6 months. But his face was no longer the same as before. After months of being controlled and drugged by the woman, he had lost his former vitality and seemed deranged. Flashing back to their vacation on the beach, her husband had secretly placed his phone in a plastic bag while Lisa was asleep. He then swam to the other side of the island, where the woman was waiting for him. Completely bewitched by her, he decided to abandon everything to start a new life with her. However, on their first night together at a hotel, the woman spiked his juice with drugs. Unaware, he drank it and soon fell into a deep coma. The woman dragged him to her car, and to ensure her plan went smoothly, injected him with another dose once they were inside. For the past 6 months, he had endured relentless torture and abuse. Now the woman's intentions were clear. She handed him a gun and ordered him to kill Lisa to end the grudge once and for all. Despite his foggy mind, he still recognized Lisa as his wife. No matter how much the woman urged him, he refused to point the gun at Lisa. At that moment, the woman's sister appeared in her wheelchair. She thought her sister's actions had gone too far. Holding their father's precious trophy, she tried to use it to reason with her sister and convince her to stop. She believed the accident from years ago was just that, an accident. They had no right to take justice into their own hands and punish anyone. As the argument escalated, Matt arrived just in time. He rushed forward and grabbed the gun from the woman's hands. Seeing her husband in danger, Lisa didn't hesitate and ran back to help. The woman fired at Matt, and Lisa broke down in tears, believing he had died. Suddenly, her husband snapped out of his dazed state. With a sudden burst of strength, he shoved the woman, causing her to fall into a deep cellar. The chaotic nightmare finally came to an end. The police arrived shortly after and arrested Lisa's husband for fraud, as he had been missing for 6 months under false pretenses. Meanwhile, Matt, who was injured during the struggle, was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. When the police pulled the woman out of the cellar, they found her frozen, her body stiff like an icicle. 10 months later, Lisa gave birth to a beautiful baby, with Matt as the father. Their love, which had faced countless challenges, finally blossomed into a happy and peaceful life together. Meanwhile, the woman's disabled sister gathered her courage and went to Germany for rehabilitation surgery. After months of hard work and relentless effort, she miraculously regained most of her ability to walk. During the 6 months when she was feeding Lisa's husband, she had developed feelings for him. Despite knowing he still had 8 years of his prison sentence to serve, she decided to wait for him without regret.